Well, where is everybody? Ain't nobody here. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. Leo here, all alone, all by myself, apparently. Anyway, welcome to Red Jacket, West Virginia, everybody. It's an old coal camp from way back when. Got some cool old buildings up here. We're going to show y'all just a little bit about. Show you them just a little in a minute. Tell you a little bit about the community. Kind of an odd one here, guys. For those of you from Red Jacket, you might be in for a little surprise today to find out just how Red Jacket got its name. Kind of a strange story, actually. But let me get out of the road here. Cars coming. I thought there's nobody here, and then when I get ready to step out there, there's cars everywhere. Figures, don't it? Okay. 2. Is that it? Okay. Now, the Red Jacket coal camps here were built by the Red Jacket Consolidated Coal and Coke Company, and later owned by Island Creek Coal Company. It was named for a Seneca chief and storyteller who was called Red Jacket. Now, he was known as, and I'll probably get this name wrong, Otatani in his language, which meant always ready. Now, Red Jacket lived much of his adult life in the Seneca Wolf Clan territory in western New York. He became famous as an orator, speaking for the rights of his people. He had a gift for beautiful speeches. Even President George Washington presented him with a special peace medal, a large oval of silver plate engraved with an image of Washington on the right hand side, shaking Red Jacket's hand. Below was inscribed George Washington, Red Jacket, and 1792. Now, Red Jacket, he wore this medal on his chest in every portrait that's ever been painted of him. Red Jacket took his name, one of several that he used as an adult, from a highly favored embroidered red jacket given to him by the British for his wartime services. You see, the Seneca tribe, they allied with the British Crown during the American Revolution. And in later years, Red Jacket developed a problem with alcohol and regretted taking his first drink. When asked if he had children, the chief, who had lost most of them to illness, getting kind of busy. Step over here, hang on. Get out of traffic. Let me get out of traffic just a little bit, tell you the rest of the story. Look at that. Kiwanis Club of Red Jacket. This old building's seen several lifetimes as different things, no doubt. Okay, now where were we? Okay, yeah, he regretted his first drink, but when asked if he had children, the chief, who had lost most of them to illness, said, "Red Jacket was once a great man and in favor with the Great Spirit. He was a lofty pine among smaller trees of the forest, but after years of glory, he degraded himself by drinking the fire water of the white man. The Great Spirit has looked upon him in anger, and his lightning has stripped the pine of its branches." Red Jacket died at the age of 77 and is buried in Buffalo, New York, with a large statue dedicated to him. So, what does that have to do with West Virginia? Absolutely nothing. As with several places here, it was named by people that came into the area to develop it. In 1890, Erskine Hazard, a civil engineer from the Norfolk and Western Railway, laid out the town of Matewan nearby and drafted the very first map of the community. The town was named after Matewan, now called Beacon, a town in Dutchess County in upstate New York. Now, locals changed the spelling in time, and Newtown is right next to Red Jacket, which is most likely named after Newtown, New York. I'm sure some hate to hear this, and some will fight to the death over how Matewan got its name. All I can say is, does it really matter at this point? We have still made these places what they are today, and quite frankly, if you guys want to, to change the name from Red Jacket to something a little bit more modern, a little bit more hillbilly, I would suggest Leoville, or possibly the town of Leo. And I won't even charge you any royalties for the first year. Okay, now I'm gonna get back in the car. I'll quit. Why do I keep saying I'm gonna quit goofing off? We know I ain't. Anyway, I'm gonna run down here. There's another little spot that I want you guys to see, and I will tell you the rest of our story when we get down there. Check that out. How beautiful is that? Is that not gorgeous? Beautiful old church. Now this right here is also Red Jacket, and there's the post office, the Red Jacket post office. Mitchell Branch is right over there. That green sign, that's where you turn up into Mitchell Branch at. Big shout out to everybody at Mitchell Branch. How y'all doing? Anyway, thought I'd come down here for, well, 3 reasons actually. One, had a cousin up Mitchell Branch, mom's cousin I should say, and pretty familiar with Mitchell Branch. 2, I mean, look at that church. That is just gorgeous. That's reason enough to stop here by itself. 3rd reason, I had a bee on my neck the entire time I did the first part of this video. Never broke stride. Y'all keep that in mind now when y'all subscribing to pages. Leo did the whole thing with a yellow jacket on his neck and never stuttered once. Okay, all right, moving on. Red Jacket, as I said, was a coal camp. In 1915, it held a total of 589 coal miners. Standard employment contracts between the employer and employees at Red Jacket required coal miners to declare that they were not now a member of the United Mine Workers of America, the IWW, or any organization of the mine workers. They also had to acknowledge that the policy of the company is to operate as a non-union mine. So you had to agree to that up front. Anyway, by World War II, 5 mining operations surrounding Red Jacket employed around 2,000 coal miners. At its peak of occupation, about 500 prefabricated houses stood on both sides of Mate Creek, and a lot of them still stand to this day. They're all over the place. They were all built by a company called the W.M. Ritter Lumber Company, and standard leases decreed that if miners cease to be employed, they shall immediately vacate said house without notice to do so. Yeah, they'd just throw you out if you got fired, if the husband got fired, if he got killed, if he whatever reason, they threw your wife and kids in the street. Yeah. The houses were of three basic types. The shotgun was 12 feet wide and 3 to 5 rooms long. A 4-room board and batten box, and a 2-story house for company officials. Now, a woman named Sue Shields Ratliff recalled her childhood memories from Red Jacket to the Bluefield Daily Telegraph. And I wanted to read this to you guys. This is really cool. It's titled, "In the Camp." In the camp, children played from dawn to dusk in the summertime and sometimes later. We had to run off the streets and alleys. We had the run, not to run. We had the run of the streets and alleys as traffic was almost non-existent. And the few cars that did travel the camp watched diligently for playing children. Between the 4-room houses and the 5-room houses was a V-shaped alley where there was enough room for a makeshift baseball diamond and where you could always find a good game in progress. With no formal recreational areas, the people in the camp had to make do with what was available to them. We had box suppers, talent shows, and other community gatherings in the Union Hall in the upper end of camp. There was the big company store for food, clothing, that's where we were just down by, furniture, and all the necessities of life. A post office, a community church, which was Baptist on one Sunday and Methodist the next, and a doctor's office. Dr. J.C. Moore, who watched over all the medical needs of the community, had his office near the company store. When anyone came down with a cold or the flu or chicken pox, etc., Dr. Moore was there to see to our needs. Dr. Moore's nurse, Mrs. Arnold, was also there and was about as good a doctor as Dr. Moore was. His office consisted of 2 rooms, a back storage room for medicine and such, and a waiting room. There was no receptionist or appointments. Dr. Moore would just open the door to one of the examine rooms and call out, "Next." After treating you, he took you back into the back storage area, which was also his office, where there were shelves full of pills and liquids of all shapes and sizes and colors. Dr. Moore would select the right medicine, put a handful of pills in a small white envelope, and lick it to seal it, and write directions on the front of the envelope and send you on your way. She said many of the women of the day had what they called nerve problems. Yeah, I see where you're going. Anyway, she said this could consist of anything from an argument with their husband to tragedy in the family to midlife crises and menopause. Dr. Moore was famous for his green nerve medicine that he dispensed regularly to those ladies. No one ever knew or even cared what it was or what was in it. It worked, and it was in great demand. Okay. It worked. They didn't care what was in it or what it was made from. It worked, and it was in great demand. Anyway, all medical care was free, including the green nerve medicine, if you worked for the company and paid into the doctor bill fund. Rarely a day goes by that I don't think of the wonderful days growing up in the camp. The families in the camp were close. Everyone knew everyone else, what house they lived in, the names of all the family members, and even family members who didn't live in the camp but came to visit from time to time. Life was much simpler then, but life was also rich in family, in friends, and in neighbors. Rich in the great education, both formal and informal, that was gained by being a part of that community. Rich in the simple fact that you were from down in the camp. I never knew of anyone who lived in the camp being financially rich when I was growing up. Some had a little more than others, but in the camps it didn't matter. Many valuable lessons were learned by growing up in the camp, and many lifelong friendships were made. Many of us have moved on. Some have moved away. Some have even made their final move. But today I feel richer because I grew up in the camp. A place I will never forget, and a people I will always remember and love. How cool is that? A bygone time, guys. A bygone time that'll never come again. Red Jacket, West Virginia. And, you know, we can negotiate on that town of Leo thing. You know, we can, you know, negotiate on the royalties. Just saying. Anyway, guys, I hope y'all enjoyed our little trip to Red Jacket, West Virginia today. And hearing a little story about a man named Red Jacket who, ironically enough, never stepped foot here. Alright. I have a really good day. Thank you for coming along with me to a little trip out to Red Jacket. We'll see you guys next trip. Leo out.